one thing at a time? What if we just, let's first get the anxiety out of the way. I do cranial sacral work. I can help them with the anxiety. So I think that's the biggest bonus, is that young people totally understand it. And then they can't see where this information is coming, just like your Wi-Fi on your telephone. I didn't hooked up to anything. Where's that coming from? So that's a very good analogy to help people understand how I can work remotely.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's perfect. And it reminds me of Bruce Lipton, because he explains it as having an iPod and bringing it home from the store, and there's no music downloaded on it, like talking about how it is that we start off from that last trimester up to 7 years when we just get programmed. And until somebody programs that iPod or a computer, it's the same thing. There's no information in there. So even though we get programmed with some information that may be false or misconstrued, because we're young and we have these young brains, and they can't filter out if somebody is saying something that is sarcastic or is it true. We just take it all on as truth. And then when you put it in, until you recognize that it's there, you're not going to be able to remove it or override that program with something else that's more serving and empowering. So
on that same vein, what popped into my mind when you're talking about that, so helping people who have predispositioned something from during their gestation, because their mother was in a place of maybe not total harmony and peace and love.
Yeah.
And they took on that anger and resentment comes through the umbilical and the fluid is more acidy. And so I've had people who they've just been angry since the day they were born, and they don't know why they're angry. I said, we need to really track back here. So how do I help explain that to a young person, well, to anybody? Well, for instance, you might take a look at what is your what do you call this instrument in your hand? Is an iPhone better than a Samsung? Is it, I might say, well, not all instruments are created equal. And so if your parent, either the parent, the sperm donor or the ovum egg donor, if they weren't in a really great place, there's a possibility that there was a malfunction from the get-go. And use a simple one like not enough folic acid. Okay, that doesn't have to be an attitude. That is just a nutritional deficiency. What happens? We know it can happen. So, it just gets so complex. But it's a long time till you get to those threads, really. Most people coming in, they have a lot bigger fish to fry. They want to be comfortable today. They're really not digging that deeply into it. It's people who have a real illness, something that they know they have to get over or die. Yeah. And that's when we have to go deeper, deeper, deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes do you think that people get ill with some kind of chronic disease because, just like you said, they're born, they have, maybe the mother was very angry and holding resentment, and all of that energy was going through the umbilical cord. That child picks it up. They go through their life. They're angry. They're resentful. They're, whatever non-desirable emotion that they're going through. I don't want to call it negative because I think all emotions are good, but it's a lower vibration for sure. And right. Then they end up with a chronic illness. And as they go in to see somebody like you, then they are able to find that thing. You can trace it back to the beginning with that, like, oh my God, I never even knew that my mom was angry. Right? I mean, doesn't it happen like that? Like, I think that's divine. I think it's divine like that.
It does happen like that. And then it helps them to understand, so for instance, if you didn't have a good relationship with that mother in that scenario we were just talking about, didn't have a good relationship with that mother, then you might be able to understand as an adult, or at least a older, more experienced person, you would understand why she was in that place And then there is no condemnation. It just is what it is. You go with what you got, take it as it comes. I can give you 100 lines like that. But
Yeah. You should write a book.
I have a lot of books that I use for reference about nutrition in particular, because food is medicine. And that's the thing that really got lost in these last 3 generations. When I was born, my mother, I was lucky, food was medicine.
Yeah.
We didn't go to doctors. I still don't go to doctors, but it's because I had a good start.
Right.
Food is medicine.
Right. Absolutely. Right. And from Mother Earth, right? The woman who nourishes the whole entire planet, right? It's food is absolutely medicine and grown from Mother Earth. I mean, my goodness, it's like nursing that newborn baby. That's what Mother Earth is doing for us. So the more that we can turn to her to be able to heal ourselves, oh my gosh, right? Completely a game changer. It's a game changer. Yeah. And just even knowing that aspirin comes from willow trees. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, but right now, Mother Earth is getting a little bit of a respite because we're not abusing her quite as badly right now because we've been pretty quiet.
Right.
So it's really a good thing. The coyotes are coming back to town. The turkeys are in town. The cougars are coming to town. It's people aren't making a lot of noise. I don't know how that's going to all turn out, but
so when that kid is downtown crying wolf, he may really be serious this time. Somebody better take him seriously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've seen that where there's a lot of animals coming back that were on the verge of extinction and they're flourishing and plants that were on the verge of extinction and are flourishing. And it's beautiful. And I'm hoping that that's another one of those beautiful lessons that we all get to take away from this, that we're not here on Mother Earth because we own her. We're visitors. And she is the home, and we're just visiting, and we need to take care of that as good gardeners and love and nourish the earth as much as it's loving and nourishing us right back.
Amen.
Amen, sister. Oh, well, CoRae, I love you and I so enjoy your company. And when you come back up this way to Minnesota, we will have to go out and have a beer. Hopefully it'll be warm enough and we don't have to put on parkas, but we'll go and sit outside and have a beer and talk about some fun, other energetic stuff. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with us and sharing your love and your wisdom. And thank you for being on the planet the same time that I am. I'm very grateful to you.
My pleasure.
Awesome. I will have in the show notes. So if anybody happens to be traveling around the Beamer, Nebraska area and wants to have work done, or if you're doing light body work remotely, CoRae's information will be in the show notes. So you will be able to get in touch with her and schedule an appointment. So I love you. I adore you. Thank you so very much. And
love you, Nada.
I'm glad you do. I'm so glad you do. Have a beautiful rest of your day and week, CoRae. And for all of the listeners, have a beautiful rest of your day and week. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Please go to nadahogan.com for show notes and other information you can use right away. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to our show and don't forget to rate and review right there on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your shows. And don't forget to tell your friends about it. We'll see you next week.